Good morning. Hi there. How are y'all? We're uh, welcome to Frank Talks. It's August 8th. There's something about 8/8. I don't remember what one of those things you're supposed to. Well, I was just going to say that it is Tony Sharp's birthday from Renaissance Bank. So, shall we sing to Tony? Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you. Yay, all right. All right, well, now we'll start officially. Good morning. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Amara, and welcome to Frank Talks. Our topic today will be City Hall on Wheels, public safety, and thank you all who registered and those who gave us their concerns about public safety and also whether you felt safe. And the good news is they feel safe in Franklin, so that's the good news. Yay. For the most part, or almost all the time. That was the other thing I thought was interesting. So thank you for being here today. Great crowd. It's a little warm in here. That morning sun is strong today, but that rain we got yesterday afternoon sure was beautiful. Or I got some. Who got rain at home yesterday? I pretty much got the whole city there. That's good. Pretty much. So that's great. So I'm going to bring up Nancy Conway to do our Did You Know question. And if you answer correctly, you win a Franklinite hat.
There you go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, welcome to Frank Talks. You're looking great this morning, and I know that you're mentally awake, ready to hit whatever on Monday, right? Okay. Now, on the quiz question for today, there will be perhaps some city elected officials or city of Franklin, whatever, that may know the answer. So I hope you will give the others an opportunity to answer first. So, see, I'm putting stipulations in today, Mayor.
Eric cannot answer.
No, Eric cannot answer, and he'll find out later why. Okay. After the city of Franklin purchased what was formerly the Harper Square Mall, and about 1980 thereabouts, and moved to where the Franklin City Hall is today. If you take Franklin City Hall when it moved and opened as a city hall through today, the present time, how many city administrators have we had? Incorrect. And you, Teresa? How many? Two. Incorrect. Three?
Yes.
No, I said one. One?
It's Tony's
Now,
Who can name
no, I'm just going to tell them because they'll get an argument. Okay, it's the late Marshall Liggett, Jay Johnson, and now our famous Eric Stuckey.
Sorry I messed that up, but who knows how many years Marshall was city recorder, city administrator. There's a plaque on the wall outside City Hall. 45, actually, I believe. 45 in the combination of all his roles in the city. So there's the did you know. Nancy always, I'm sorry, Nancy, I won't stay up here next time because I'll get. Okay, well, we can't do Frank Talks without the support of our sponsors and our partners, and we certainly thank Williamson Medical Center and Renaissance Bank. And Greg, I think you all, you want to come up and then we're going to have a video, right?
Good morning, everybody.
One of the community services which we can all be most proud of is our EMS team at Williamson Medical Center. This summer, they have marked 50 years of service to the community, and they have grown to a fleet of 17 advanced life support vehicles. And we wanted to share a little video with you today from Michael Wallace, the director of our EMS program. So we'll take a look.
What's your emergency?
We only know 2 speeds. We're either busy or super busy. Our goal to have an average response time every emergency of 8 minutes and 59 seconds or less countywide from the time you dial 911 to the time we arrive on the scene. As the lead agency for EMS in the community, we employ over 150 men and women that are all either licensed advanced emergency medical technicians, paramedics, and critical care paramedics. 50 years is an incredible landmark. So where we were 50 years ago, a matter of delivering patients quickly to the hospital, fast transportation, and very little patient care. 50 years later, the level of technology, patient care delivery that we provide in your living room or on the roadside, it's remarkable and life-saving.
I'm so proud of our EMS team here at Williamson Medical Center. We're also one of 7 EMS teams in the country that can provide blood services right on the scene, and the only one in the state of Tennessee. 50 years of providing service to this community is amazing to me.
We're the primary ambulance service, but a big part of that is also the collaboration that we have with every single city and county fire department across the community. They are a fully integrated component of the emergency response system, respond with us side by side on every emergency across the community. 911 Communications Center folks are an integrated component essential component of what we do. Also our law enforcement partners, emergency management. It is a large group of diverse team members, disciplines across all of public safety throughout the entire community. We have such an incredible group of men and women that serve, and they're very talented, and just being able to be there for them and support them in the delivery of their mission is truly a privilege.
If you were at Breakfast with the Mayors with us a couple weeks ago, you heard also the slogan, "Kindness Matters." So let's really put that in place where the Williamson Medical Center is asking you to consider writing a thank you note or a note of gratitude to a staff member or a provider in your own doctor's office, or think about doing that for the emergency personnel in our community as well. And so kindness matters. We'll just keep that in mind. Renaissance Bank, now normally they follow that up with a funny video, but no funny video today, okay? We're going to be serious and talk about public safety. And then thanks so much to our friends at the Good Food Group for providing our coffee this morning. So it's been a busy couple weeks for Franklin tomorrow, and we're glad to be back here at Columbia State, which Dr. Lampley, did Dr. Lampley make it in? No? Okay, so, but they're 2 weeks away from the start of this next semester, so we're here today, but in 2 weeks we probably wouldn't want to be here. Might be a little anthill at beehive of activity as well, so we appreciate the hospitality of Columbia State again today. So we always try to keep it topical for Frank Talks, and today we're going to talk about public safety, our City Hall on Wheels, and we appreciate having Eric Stuckey, our city administrator, here with us. Eric, do you want to come up here and do your remarks, or I'll, yeah, and then here's the remote, and you're all good to go. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us. A big part of what makes a community a great place is the people that care and invest in it. And just you coming out shows me that. And I just thank you for all you do in taking care of the community, taking care of each other. That really matters. And that is a big part of public safety, which is what we're talking about today. I do want to make a remark. I am in my 14th year as city administrator. Probably not going to break Marshall's 45 years, I'm thinking. But, I don't know. Maybe the mayor will help me out with some medical treatment or something that'll make me a super city administrator for 45 years. Do want to recognize we've got Mayor Moore here, Alderman Peterson, Alderman Brown. I want to thank the board for the support they provide for our team and especially our public safety efforts. So I am contractually obligated to at least give you a few PowerPoint slides. It's just the way it goes. But it does give me a chance to give you some just broad overview of what public safety means to us. And quite frankly, there's not a more important role that we play in local government than providing for and taking care of the public safety of our community. And that is a broad responsibility. That's also a personal, individual responsibility. It's the biggest place where we put our funds. We have about a $95 million general fund budget, and 43%, nearly 43% of it goes directly to public safety. Just around 21 million in fire, just under 20 million in police. And you see a total of 335 of our city staff team members are in that public police and fire public safety realm. So it is, I always say we are in the people business in local government, in that we get it, we serve people, but we get it done through our people. That is even more true when you look at the public safety function. When I look at those individual budgets, it's probably 80+% personnel related. We invest in our people, and that's how we provide those services. So I'm going to hit a few key highlights on each department. They are by no means meant to be exhaustive, but there are things I thought might be of particular importance. Let's start with the police department. We are a fully accredited agency, both the international accreditation as well as the statewide accreditation. The CALIA accreditation has one we've held for over 20 years, and we've held a kind of a flagship or gold standard status within that. We answer over 60,000 calls for service per year from that police department team. And we track how we do. We track our clearance rates. We track our crime rates. Our general violent and serious crime rates are below half of what the national average is, and we track and we make sure that we're doing that well or better, and we take that very seriously. We track every interaction we have with our citizens. You see the body cameras, we've had those since 2018. We're one of the first in the state to have that. But Chief gives me a report every year that tracks all our traffic stops, what we do, what the nature of them are, the demographics as best we can tell of everybody we interact with. That's just to make sure we're tracking how we're interacting with the community. Is there any disparity? Is there any potential bias in what we do? And we don't just rely on what we think. We look at the stats on how we do it. And I think that's a really important aspect of what we do. I think Chief will tell you the most likely person to get pulled over in the city of Franklin is probably me or her. I think as a middle-aged white woman was probably most at risk. But anyway, we do take that really seriously. I mean, all joking aside, that is really important that we track that and pay attention to it. The training that we provide, both our police and fire personnel, we strive to do that at the highest level possible. You can't expect high performance if you don't provide the tools. And that's around training, that's around equipment, that's around the environment we create in those departments. Some that I think are of particular importance, though. Every officer receives, at least annually, an ongoing crisis intervention training, violence de-escalation training, cultural awareness so we can understand how to relate to all of our citizens, whatever their background experience, whatever that is. I think that all translates into general positive interaction. The fact that the stat I put up there, 0.002% of our interactions involve any use of force at any level. So it's very, very rare, and we train and we work to make sure that it is very rare. But when we have to do it, we do what needs to be done too. And they're trained to do that and do that right. We have very strong training and direction on how to do use of force. We fit all the national standards above and beyond in terms of best practices and how to do it effectively and safe for the officers, safe for the citizens. And so we take that very seriously. Within the fire department, Again, a high-performing organization. We strive to do that the best way we can. That ISO, that Insurance Service Office's rating at 1, puts us in the highest 0.5% of fire agencies across the country. We answer over 10,000 calls for service per year. Somewhere around, depends on the year, 2/3 to 70% is of a medical nature. With that in mind, we have a high degree of training in that level. Every one of our 8 fire stations responds with an advanced life support capacity. You heard about the great service we get from emergency medical services from Williamson Medical. We are companions in that, and in fact, we are typically the first responder that arrives in between that 8-minute response time and our response time, which is around 3 to 4 minutes, generally. So you'll get advanced life support from Franklin Fire personnel in tandem with what comes from Williamson Medical. So we operate 8 stations. We do co-locate now. We built a component of Fire Station 7, which is down in the southeast, to co-locate a paramedic unit there. We now are operating a 24-hour unit out of the West Haven station, Station 8 as well. So we are all about partnerships and making that happen. So one of the other things I'm really proud of, the level of training we provide to our personnel all the time, but also the training we provide in the region. There's a good chance a lot of the firefighters and other neighboring departments receive their initial training from some of our personnel just because of the high level of what we do and the quality of instruction that you can get. So we partner in providing that valuable training. So that's going to stop the key points I have for you. I want to turn it over to some questions for our chiefs, and I'll just make a couple comments in introducing them. One of the most important roles of a city administrator is to get the right talent in the right seats in your organization, and then let them lead and support them in doing it. And so I feel like I've kind of done that with these two, I have to say. They are well respected within their departments. They're well respected within the region, within the community. And they're very, very engaged in what they do and how they do it. Let me just say a couple words. Chief Faulkner has been our chief since 2014. She has a 40-plus year law enforcement career, started in Metro Police Department as one of the first female officers for the department, worked her way all the way up to deputy chief, I think also served as interim chief for a period as well. Also became the state of Tennessee's first inspector general, is that the right term? So worked in that role and then came to us in 2014 and shortly after that became our chief. And is currently serving as the president of the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police. So we're proud of that. Glenn Johnson's been with the Franklin Fire Department for 28 years. I think he pretty much worked in every role you can work in, and I was proud to appoint him as our chief in 2020. He has also been a leader in the region in Homeland Security, regional response. He has led a number of disaster responses on behalf of emergency management agencies, not just in Tennessee, but beyond, and we're proud of those skills and that ability. He is just a fantastic leader, and we're just welcome both of them here, and I'll have some questions for him. So thank you, chiefs. All right, so I'm going to start with Chief Faulkner, because we know it's school time just started. Friday was our first day of school, and I want her to talk a little bit about what we do to train and prepare to be a partner with our school system, school systems, in keeping our schools safe. So talk about what you do working with FSSD, with Williamson County Schools, with the Sheriff's Department, and others to make sure we're ready and are supporting and providing as safe an environment as we can.
Thank you all for being here this morning. It's an honor and privilege to be your chief of police, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the kind words, Mr. Stuckey. If you don't hear anything else that I say this morning, I want to emphasize how seriously we take the safety of our school children here in Franklin. It is a topic of conversation just about every day, whether school's open or not. We discuss active shooter situations. We are not responsible for the inside of the school unless there's an emergency. The Sheriff's Department has school resource officers. However, you've probably seen my 13 school crossing guards this morning and my traffic officers who have been hot and heavy in the school zones. If you're looking at your telephone in a school zone, you're probably going to get zapped. If you fail to yield to a school bus that is stopped you're going to get a citation. And if you're speeding through a school zone, because I hear them on the radio and they're working it pretty heavy. We constantly do scenario-based training and also table exercises regarding active shooters, not just in the schools, but also at our mall, our shopping areas, certain businesses, corporations that we have here in Franklin, and our churches, any place where we know that there could be crowds. Every special event that's planned in the city of Franklin, we look at how best to preserve it so that people can come here and enjoy themselves and not worry about being harmed. Many times I have SWAT officers on the rooftops on Main Street. You may not have noticed it, but some people do tell me they notice it, and they'll say, hey, I saw your guys on the roof, thank you. So pilgrimage is another situation that we plan for, when there's a lot of people that come here to enjoy music and have a good time. During the summer, we used a couple of our schools, particularly those who had portable buildings, so that we could familiarize ourselves with the schools, the building, any changes that the school system has made. We work closely with the Sheriff's Department. I'm probably on the phone with Sheriff Rhodes on a regular basis, discussing some of the things going on. I want you to know this, that our policy is now, and always has been, that if one of these calls go out, an officer goes directly to the threat and stops it. There is no waiting for anybody else. You got the call, go to it. Officers have exactly what they need in the back of those Ford Explorers in order to go in and stop the threat. I won't go into all the equipment that they have, because I don't know who all's watching this, but they have the equipment and the breaching tools to open any door. I call it the key to the city. We do table exercises and also discussions with our emergency management. I know Todd Horton is here. Raise your hand, Todd. And he's engaged in that, as well as our fire and our partners in other cities in the county. The Franklin Police Department and the Sheriff's Department are the only two agencies in Williamson County who have SWAT teams. So if Brentwood or Spring Hill or Nelsonville or Fairview or any of those agencies need assistance, we're there. So it's important for us to know what our resources are, what their resources are. And to be honest, I have a lot of new people, particularly on my SWAT team, and I need them to know who they are. If officers are off duty, but they hear the call, they go directly to the threat. And they have vests that they can put on to identify themselves as a Franklin police officer that they'll immediately put on and grab their long gun and go in. So we try to stay very prepared for these situations. They're so important. And they happen all over our country. And I hear, I monitor all the different calls that law enforcement has had. Unfortunately, this year it's been very sad. But we always strive for best practices. I look at what happened in Uvalde, and I gleaned a couple of things from that as far as equipment, and I added to our department. It's a tough time. There's going to be a meeting in August, mid-August, between the Tennessee Sheriff's Association and the Tennessee Chiefs Association. And we have a speaker coming who is a parent of a child killed in Parkland Elementary School. That's a school that, in a town that sounded just like Franklin to me. I saw citizens interviewed and they said, we don't even lock our doors at night. This doesn't happen here. And I thought, oh dear God, that's Franklin. So we constantly stay on our toes. We try to. There'll be a lot of discussion during that day between chiefs and sheriffs. We're on the same team. We need each other, and we intend to support one another. And I always pray. I don't know about you, but my prayers every day is that this never happens here.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Johnson, you want to add anything in terms of some of the work you all do to prepare? And I'm going to ask you all to pick up the mic because I think they're having trouble hearing us. So we'll go to that option. Thanks.
Yes, and I echo Chief Faulkner's opening comments. I do appreciate the opportunity to serve as your fire chief here in Franklin, and I appreciate the level of support that we get from our city elected officials as well as our city leadership. So thank you. We work in conjunction with one another in planning these events, as Chief Faulkner was saying earlier. We work internally as well as externally with our emergency management partners to develop plans and contingencies in the event we do have to respond to incidents of the nature. But on the other side of the fire, with school coming back, we're getting ready to start fire prevention month. So we're going to be going back out into the schools. We'll be engaging all of our first through third graders. COVID shut us down for a little while, so we're glad to be getting back out there and educating our youngsters.
Thank you, Chief. One thing you may not know, when we do special events, we treat them like incident command situations. So they are, in a way, a great practice opportunity for us, whether it's natural disaster or whatever else it might be. We sort of practice it every time you're going to a Main Street Festival or whatever it might be. That is an opportunity for us. We know it's going to happen, but it still is the same idea of deploying resources and managing folks from different departments in a wide area with a lot of people there and different things happening. So we really get to practice it, and our teams do a great job of responding and planning for it, and that is something that I think serves us well. We've deployed personnel in disaster situations across the country. That's also another opportunity where they learn and hone those skills they've been trained on. So that's something else worth mentioning. So Chief Johnson, I'm going to have you start with this question. And we'll do this as a two-parter.
All right.
First, talk about what makes an excellent firefighter.
Well, the Franklin Fire Department, our vision statement is service through excellence. That's what we look for. Our core values are compassion, integrity, and professionalism. Those are the things that we hold dear when we start looking at, hiring firefighters. And we go through a really in-depth process to make sure that we get the right people that's going to serve our community and our visitors to the highest standard that we establish. Also, they have to be physically fit, and we run them through a physical ability test, and they have to complete it in a certain amount of time. They also go through a written test to test their aptitude, as well as the oral interviews. Once they go through that process, then they go through one of our fire academies, whether it be our local one or through our state academy. So when we look for people, we want to make sure that they're going to represent the Franklin Fire Department and the city of Franklin to the standards that our citizens are accustomed to.
All right, let's have Chief answer that on what makes a great police officer.
Ironically, we've been testing for police officer applicants right now, and this is a question that I ask them. What do you think are the qualities of a good police officer? Because I want to hear what they think. And they always say things like integrity, trust, character, dedication, a good work ethic, intelligence, and yeah, all of that's true and then some. All of this, we check throughout the background process. They go through a very intense background. We even, a lot of times, go to their neighborhood and talk to their neighbors about them. All of the things that Chief Johnson said, plus we also have to take a polygraph. You have to take a polygraph?
Yes.
Okay. So it's pretty intense. In fact, he's a retired captain from Metro PD, and he didn't take any nonsense. And neither do I. But I'll tell you, the two things that I look for, I can give them the best equipment, a really sharp-looking vehicle. I can give them state-of-the-art training. I can send them to all types of different schools. There's two things I can't give them, and to me are the most critical: heart and courage. And that gets tested on an ongoing basis. I can't give them that. They've got to bring that to the city of Franklin, and I check it continuously.
So I had a longtime police chief years ago tell me, if I see an officer stop at that neighborhood lemonade stand, I know I got a good officer. Like they get that idea of connection. And Chief will say this a lot of times too. We want our officers to be a part of the community, not apart from the community. And that's part of that too, that character to engage. So related to that, part two of this question, what are you doing to attract and retain? It is a tough labor market. It's especially tough in public safety. It's especially tough to find folks who want to be in law enforcement. Talk about what you do to recruit and retain that high-quality candidate, and what are you maybe doing differently now than you were doing just a few years ago? We've really worked hard to make sure we're meeting our responsibility to get talented, dedicated, caring professionals in these roles.
We had to be really creative these days. I can remember a time when you posted that you were going to hire for police officers, and you'd have 120 people show up. It's not like that now. You're lucky if you get 15. And unfortunately, the world we live in right now, it's hard to find men and women that want to do this job. Can you imagine? I mean, you know, you're out there in the public eye, you're wearing this. It's not like you can be anonymous. Everybody knows who you are. You're driving around in that car with blue lights and, you know, everything in the world on it, siren. You're wearing a camera on your chest. You've got a camera in your vehicle that records everything you say and do. Oh, yes, sign me up. But thank God we do have men and women that do sign up, and they still want to do this job. We advertise on all the typical platforms. You know, I take into consideration the generation that we have of young people, and they watch platforms, social media. I use Indeed, Monster, all the things that I know that young men and women look at. But what I've found, and you know, a lot of departments are, I say, cannibalizing each other because we're stealing from one another. And thank you, Mr. Stuckey, for the new pay increase, because that's made us much more competitive, even with Metro and Murfreesboro. I have 3 candidates right now in the background stage that are from Metro Nashville. Now, I can steal them, and I couldn't do that before necessarily. And I'm also attracting them from, and I think you are too, from those states where maybe law enforcement is not as supportive. For example, California and New York. I've got one in training right now from New York. I've got another one in the background process from New York City, and I've got 3 in the background process from California. And so we asked them, what do you know about the city of Franklin and the Franklin Police Department? And they'll recite our mission statement. They know all about us. They visited here. And I'll say, why do you want to come to work here? And they say, because I need a better quality of life, both for my family and to work in. One officer that's from New York City, he said, I guess it's been kind of a culture shock to you a little bit. He said, are you kidding me? He said, I can't tell you how amazing it is to work in a city where I can do the job that I love and feel supportive. So never doubt how much we appreciate and value all that you do for us and all that you say to us and how you show your love to our officers when they're out in the field. I have found that it's easier, it's quicker to get them on the street, and it's cheaper if I can hire what we call lateral entry officers, and I think you're doing that with firefighters. They've already been a police officer somewhere else. They're trained, they've got special skills, and they bring that to the city of Franklin. All I got to do is teach them what Franklin does and put them on the street. I don't have to send them off to an academy for 11 weeks and pay for all of that. I can do it in-house, do the transition school so that they're post-certified in the state of Tennessee and get them working on the street. That's the best bang for the buck that I know of. It also helps me attract diversity. I've been able to cast my net further and bring in more officers who are bilingual, who I just got a terrific female who's African American who's on my dive team. And she is amazing. She set the high bar for divers and for her certification for Swiftwater. She's amazing. So it's given me an opportunity to attract more diversity to the Franklin Police Department. Anyway, it's a chore, it's a task, it's a hard job, but it's worth it to constantly post. You've made it easier by upping the pay. Thank you, Lord.
Glenn, how about you?
I agree. The pay was tremendous, and it helped us to retain some of our personnel. But we're experiencing the same thing in fire that Chief Faulkner is in police. It used to be we would, post for a firefighter position, get 300 or 400 applications. Now we're lucky if we get 80 to 100 to show up for our test. And so we've had to get creative as well. We've added the new pay plan, which we're very grateful for. We also added additional pay for AEMTs and paramedics. as a stipend. So that has really been attractive, and we've been able to lure some people from other departments with that as well. We recently changed to TCRS, which is able to let us recruit within other departments. They have TCRS, and they can bring their retirement to Franklin, and they don't lose that time. But we do the same thing as PD. We have a lateral transfer program. Usually when we advertise, we'll advertise for new firefighters, because we also want to give people an opportunity that's, wanted to have that lifelong dream of being a firefighter, the opportunity. And we can, we balance it between hiring people who are experienced and then giving others an opportunity. We're grabbing people from all over the country, and we are also grabbing some of our local firefighters as well. So we're trying to create the diversity. We're always searching for ways to, create a diverse department and that will serve our community well. And we've got a really good start on that. We just keep it working on it and improving it every day. Once a new firefighter is hired, if they're at entry level, they go through a 16-week program. Usually we do it at our training facility that we've had since 2004. The men and women of the Franklin Fire Department serve as their instructors. We often train firefighters from other departments, Brentwood, I think they've got a couple in there, Dixon, Hendersonville. And sometimes when these firefighters get a taste of what Franklin has to offer, as soon as there's an opening, they're applying. Now, there's a few chiefs that don't speak to me right now, but if they're going to leave, I'm going to take them, especially if they're the quality that what we strive to hire. Our lateral transfer program, they usually go through a 2 or 3 week orientation, like Chief Faulkner was saying, to learn the Franklin way, and then we put them on the street. So we're always looking for ways to, increase, our ability to recruit and retain our seasoned employees as well, because we've seen some of our 8 to 10 year people leave to go to other departments, and a lot of it was because of pay. And with our new pay plan that we have in place now, we're going to be stopping the bleed. So thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I'm looking at Mayor Moore here right in the front row, and I think about some of the work he's done around mental health in the community, Find Hope Franklin, those efforts to support and encourage mental health and to get the care and service people need. I want you all to talk about the impacts you see mental health having in the services you provide and in the community. How's it translating, and what are you all doing?
I'm glad you brought this up. I mention it in every single presentation, and I know, yeah, you're nodding your head, you're ad nauseum, but I can't tell you, this is one of the leading calls for service for law enforcement. We call them psychological emergencies, and not a day goes by that I don't hear an officer being dispatched to someone who's not having a good day. For the first 7 months of this year, we've had 26 threats of suicide, 48 attempts, and 4 documented suicides. Now, Franklin's only like 42 square miles, and to me, coming from Nashville, that seems like a lot. I know people are very stressed right now. In fact, 2 of these 4 suicides were the last week of April. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what was going on that week that, really drove someone to take their life. The oldest person that we've had contact with regarding this was 86, and the youngest was 10. 18 documented incidents, including juveniles. We've had 37 overdoses so far this year, and all officers carry Narcan, and I know you're firefighters, and I tell you, if I ever get a chance to meet the person who invented Narcan, I want to meet them, because I'm telling you, it's like something you read about in the Bible. They are, for all intents and purposes, dead when firefighters and EMS and police get there. They start hitting them with 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 shots of Narcan, and they sit up like nothing happened. Like, what's going on? I've seen the body camera footage, and it is amazing. Thank you, Lord, for Narcan. All of our officers, as Mr. Suki mentioned earlier, received training in crisis intervention and de-escalation training. They used to call it verbal judo. because we know that what we say and what we do in those first minutes can make or break a situation when someone's having the worst day of their life. And we try to get them to the help that they desperately need. And there's been some amazing situations of talking people off of that beautiful bridge we have, off overpasses at interstates, and then things within the home, particularly with drugs. But it's something that it's another thing that is right up there with active shooter that we discuss, we do training with. We actually have a crisis counselor that we've added to the Franklin Police Department because we want our officers to be able to have debriefings after they've answered one of these incidents because they're pretty stressful. And she works, she's part-time, and she does debriefings after these incidents. Sort of an undiscussed topic is the fact that police officers, law enforcement officers, and I suspect also firefighters are potentially victims to suicide. I have a website that I look at almost daily called Blue Help, and so far this year there's been close to 100 officers who have committed suicide across the country. So I check that on a regular basis. I have 40 officers who are veterans, so we check for PTSD. And the 8 candidates that I have right now that we're doing backgrounds on, 5 of those are veterans. So I go after and attract and try to recruit veterans because having military, they certainly fit right into the culture. We're sort of a paramilitary organization, and they get the discipline and the work ethic and all that we have to do in our job. But I also want to check for their wellness, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. We have police chaplains that can come out. So many people are new to our city, so they haven't affiliated with a church. We have Chris Whitney, God bless him, and several others that have a great contact list that can fix them up with someone if they need that guidance and that help. And we also have peer counselors. We have officers who have volunteered to be peer supporters, and they've been especially trained to have those conversations at 2 or 3 in the morning, car to car, when an officer is experiencing some stress personally or professionally. So we do a lot to check ourselves as well because we think that's important. My job as the chief, I think, is to protect the ones who protect us. And so that's what I try to do.
We noticed a significant increase in psychological emergencies that we respond to, especially post-COVID. And we've really been trying to find better ways to address that. We're looking at different programs across the country, learning from what other departments are doing to address these issues. But it does take a large, we've noticed a substantial increase. And while we have programs to take care of those in the community, as Chief Faulkner said, we just rolled out a program to take care of our own as well, to help the men and women of the fire department. We have a very talented engineer, Emily Nelms. She has really taken this program and ran with it. She's broken so many barriers and got so much attention from across the state from other departments that they're reaching out to her, wanting them to help create their behavioral health programs. But we really have to take care of our own. We've got pending legislation that we're going to be supporting. We're turning PTSD into a workman's comp because the men and women of our department see so much, and it could be a one-time event or it could be something cumulative. So we appreciate all the support that we've received. Our local legislators have been supportive, our city leadership, and our local elected officials. But we are training our personnel to, look at ways and give families resources that they can utilize when we respond to these calls, and to help them find a solution to their problems or seek or find help. So we keep mental health on our radar, not only for the public, but also for our personnel as well.
Thanks, Chief. One of our core values in the city with our team is that we focus on teamwork. That's both within our departments, that's across our organization, that's also outside of our organization. I want you all to talk about some of the partnerships that we have. We have Todd Horton here from Emergency Management with the county. I saw Williamson Medical here, another important partner. So many. But I want you to talk a little bit about the key partnerships, how we build those, just some of the ones you reflect on that folks may not know about that are important.
Well, I tell you, we really do treasure our relationship with our county partners at EMA and Williamson Medical Center and EMS. Years ago, EMS used to be in one building, fire department be in another building, but, through the ages, we've transferred that. We got EMS stationed in the fire stations now, and that's what we look to continue to do as we build these new stations where we follow the growth. But we also, have different relationships with our partners around. We don't only support our local departments, we respond statewide, and we've responded to probably 6 or 7 hurricanes, ranging from Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, and South Carolina. We support Tennessee Task Force 2, which is housed in Nashville. It's made up of members of departments from the District 5 Homeland Security. We also have a credentialed Swiftwater team. We're just waiting to get that contract finalized to where we'll be supporting, working with the Sheriff's Office, Franklin PD, and Brentwood Fire. So we have a pretty tight network when we come to support each other. This weekend, we were on a mutual aid in Nashville supporting Music City Grand Prix. We had personnel up there working it. So we have a lot of different agencies we support, not only just locally, but Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, our director, Sheehan, lives here in this community. So we're happy to support them in any way.
I've already mentioned our close contact with the other sheriffs and chiefs in the area, as well as our county partners. So I'd also mentioned Tennessee Highway Patrol and Homeland Security. We have a very close relationship. Of course, Colonel Perry over at THP lives in Franklin, so that makes it a good partnership. A good example of that is our concentration and very aggressive effort on driving under the influence or driving while impaired. That's a huge effort for us. It always has been, but especially since Officer Legeza was killed by a drunk driver. His father, of course, is a lieutenant with the Franklin Police Department, so we take this to heart. Just to give you an example, this is the 220th day of the year. And so far, Franklin has made 259 DUI arrests. That's a lot. And they're staying busy. But we have a highway safety grant that pays for overtime and also some equipment that we've needed. You've seen these signs all in the school zones, those mobile signs. About 8 of those belong to the police department. We've bought them over the years through highway safety grants. So we try to be creative with how we can access money to boost our efforts, especially in the area of DUI. If you see anybody, if you're at a restaurant or somewhere and you see someone who looks impaired, you all know what that looks like, don't you? Okay, I thought you did. Call us so we can stop them before they hurt somebody.
One other thing I would touch on that you don't see that is critically important. Several years ago, we worked to consolidate our radio system into one radio system across the county. Franklin was in need of upgrading our digital system. Both Brentwood and the county were on older systems that were well past their prime. We came together to get into one radio system together that we share. It also happens to be directly linked. It's essentially the same system they have in Metro Nashville. It's expanded to really become sort of a regional radio system that we can use seamlessly. That's something you don't think about, but it's critically important that we can talk to each other. It's enhanced our system for our own services, but when we need other folks, we can talk very easily, seamlessly, and that's been a huge deal. We consolidated our dispatch services in Franklin into the county system, into one consolidated dispatch, so we had more people, more depth in that agency to serve both us, but also that connection to key partners, whether it's EMS or across the county. So this is just realizing we serve the same citizens and that we can work smarter together. And that's just a really simple, something you don't think about, but is critically important. And if you don't have it, you'll know it. And so I'm really thankful for the leadership and the partnership that we've built together. So I'm going to hand it back to Mindy because she's ready to go.
I want to just to bring up, and I'm going to go quickly to this next slide about QPR. And we've got some partners here in the room. And QPR is Question, Persuade, Refer, suicide prevention training for our community that's being provided through Find Hope Franklin. Franklin Amaro coordinates this along with the Refuge Center and other groups. But I want to just ask one question and we'll talk about this. We talked earlier about Williamson Medical Center's Kindness Matters campaign. How can the community support you all and your officers during this difficult time?
We are supported. I'm thankful for that every day. In fact, there are officers that are from other agencies come into our break room and they're sort of taken aback by all the cards and balloons and food. They have to run extra miles. We don't take that for granted. We know how blessed we are. We watch the news. We see what other people are putting up with, unfortunately. When we did the National Night Out this past week, and we went to different neighborhoods, it was overwhelming. People came up to us and said, look, we're not about this defunding the police. In fact, how much money do you need? So I'll tell him to talk to him and the mayor. So we know how blessed we are. I think the one thing that I ask for are prayers. I'm a woman of faith, and I know that prayer is important, and I pray for our officers every day. I see the overnight, like there was one this morning, I get a chief's brief every morning, and they were involved in someone who was highly intoxicated, who was resisting and fighting, and they had to fight all over the place. And I have had a couple hurt recently that I've got on light duty. So, and they worked all through COVID. You know, everybody else was working from home. We can't work from home. Our work is your home. So officers were out there. We provided safety equipment for them, things to keep them as safe as we could, and they did it. They got through it, thank you, Lord. So I guess the biggest thing is your continued blessings and support means everything to us, and your prayers if you're a praying person.
I agree. I couldn't imagine being in any other community than Franklin with the level of support that we receive from our citizens, our visitors, and our leadership. There's no words that can explain the appreciation that our men and women have for that. You know, our foundation is the men and women of our fire department. And the reason we receive so much community support is the support that they give the community. They go above and beyond. Sometimes I don't even know about it until I get a thank you card. As an example, I had an elderly lady that became overheated and had to be transported by EMS while she was outside planting flowers in her flower bed. When she got home, all the flowers were planted. That crew stayed and finished planting the flowers for her. That's... You work in the garden?
Yeah, that'd be great.
But that's what a lot of people don't see. They do this every day. And a lot of times I don't even know about it, and that's what makes it so great. They don't do it for recognition. They do it because that's their commitment to this community. They want to make a difference, and they want to do a good job.
Thank you so much to these leaders in our community. I do want to just point out the QPR classes to you. When they were talking about encountering someone who's in a mental health emergency or psychological emergency, QPR can be, like the mayor always says, it's CPR for mental health. It's CPR for mental health. It gives you the tools to deal with a situation that may occur, to know the right questions to ask, be able to persuade someone to seek treatment and how to refer them. These classes are free. We have several coming up in the next few weeks. They're all on our website. You can register for them. They're free. It takes an hour and a half of your time. An hour and a half of your time may make a difference in the life of your neighbor, your child, your coworker, or a complete stranger. But you'll have the tools and know what to ask and where to go. And if you need more information, you go to findhopefranklin.com, which is the website for this group that's working together, because this is a partnership you see up here There are partnerships supporting them in the community. The Health Council, Kim Tyner's here from Williams County Alcohol Drug Council. We're supporting, but we all have to work together. So please look at these classes, consider taking one of them. It's an hour and a half of your time, very valuable to our community and to you. And then Frank Talks next month is September 12th, and we're excited. We have an international guest, former Rotary International President Mark Maloney will be coming to talk about a program that Rotary and the Lions Club, Optimist, and Kiwanis have been working on for a couple years called Celebrating Community, and it kicks off the week of September 11th through 17th. And Mark will be here this is a program he instituted, and he'll be here in Franklin at Frank Talks at Franklin First United Methodist at Asbury Hall to kick this off for us, and we'll have some volunteer opportunities during that week or some things that you can do to celebrate community. And we'll be working with the Kiwanis and Lions and Optimists in our community to have them there as well. So it is a community, and a community has great leaders, but a community also has great citizens. And that's what you are for being here today. So thanks so much. Follow us on social media to keep up with everything. And I'm going to put these QPR classes up here because I really would love to see you at one of those. Lynn?
One way we can support these people is to follow the rules, obey the law.
Obey the law.
Recently, we were in Panama City, Florida. We were sitting at an intersection. The green light had the cross traffic going this way. The opposite direction, a police car was coming. He got up to the intersection, had his lights and sirens going. No one stopped. No one stopped. Cars just kept flying by. I don't think that happens here. I hope it doesn't. But, it's safety creep is what I would call it. We're in the situation we're in now because we've let little things go. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for being here today, and we'll see you on September 12th, we hope, or at one of these classes. Thanks so much.